We're going to go race when we want to race. We're going to go have fun. But if we go to a place like Newport, I need you on the radio. Your dad had to run in with his dad, so your families hate each other.
I think my first light was a 20 light, like .02.
That's pretty good.
My first ever light.
Yeah. And then they said, we should make drag racers go down the tail of the dragon.
My first pass was, I don't know if it was on my birthday, but it was the same week as my birthday. It was the Wednesday of my 16th birthday.
You know why I'm not upset? Because I'm not actually going to cut any of this. I told Dad, I was like, you realize I've never been in the drag strip? He's like, yeah, I know. He sat there for a minute and he went, you're going to love it. No. Guys, welcome back to the Let It Ride podcast. I don't know why I almost forgot the name of our podcast. Sorry about that. So welcome back to the Let It Ride podcast. I am Jake Freeman. You know me from the Shift Points YouTube channel, and I am still here with my good friend.
What's going on, guys? I am the other side, Colin Andrews, over at the Daily Misfire channel over in Tennessee. North Carolina guy. Yeah. Tennessee, we're bordered.
We're bridging the gap.
Yeah.
We're at College 26 because we bridge the gap between North Carolina and Tennessee.
There you go. And we're here to talk about a little bit more because we were supposed to get onto a certain subject that we didn't get to the last episode because we got on to like Family Guy tangents and talked about what really grinds my gears about a whole lot of random things, like people talking about too much horsepower, not enough horsepower, too much money, AAA. If you want to go watch that one, go check it out. And you know the whole channel, you can go check out that one. You go check out our lovely wives in the episode 3, right? Is that
you should do 3? That because they look a lot better than we do.
They do.
So, I mean,
yeah, you can just go put that one on repeat and you can see them. That's episode 3, right? Is that one?
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. Yep, that's right.
Yeah. So this is episode 5.
Wow. We're up to 5
episodes. Wow.
And we're almost consistent with it. we're getting
better.
We're getting there.
But we have 2 different things we're going to talk about on this video. Hopefully it'll be a little bit shorter of a podcast compared to what we've done in the past with hours. Yep. This might be 45 minute. This won't be. It'll be still an hour.
It'll probably be an hour.
But somebody went over to Newport Raceway, right? It's Raceway or Speedway? Speedway.
Yep.
Okay. And you did what?
Okay, so let's talk about Newport super fast. So Newport Speedway is this little just under 0.4 of a mile bull ring mini Bristol that's over in Newport, Tennessee. What's up?
So, mind you real quick, I'm going to give everyone a quick layover. The only thing I know about circle track racing is it goes left. That's all I know. What's a bull ring?
Okay. All right. Hold on. All right. So let's talk about that just real fast. So I'm kind of, you've seen our channel. If you've watched Shift Points, you know, like we are this weird hodgepodge of everything. We do circle track stuff. We do drag racing stuff. We do streetcar stuff. We do LS swaps. We do small blocks. Like we kind of do it all. And that's what I love about what we do. And I think the more people that find us that start to kind of understand that, the cooler it's going to be. But like Colin said, he comes from practically a full-blown drag racing world.
Drag racing or old school hot rod, street rod, you know, that kind of stuff. Old car builder stuff. I come from either car builder or drag racing or like the roadkill thing of like, you drive old stuff. That's what you do.
Right.
Like that's where I come from. And I've been to a few circle track stuff. Like we went to Bristol on dirt. We've been to a couple like circle track stuff, small stuff. My grandpa talked a lot about circle track stuff when he was, you know, younger, but I was never around it by the time I was around. So I'm like, they go left. Yeah. That's I play NASCAR Heat 5. That's what I know.
So basically the beginning of this podcast, we'll be talking about circle track stuff a little bit. But anyway, so a bull ring, it's kind of a slang term that we use in circle track stuff for like short track stuff. There's going to be a lot of beating and banging. There's going to be a lot of aggression, basically.
Rowdy stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So, most people would call probably most of these short tracks around here, they'd kind of call them a bull ring. But like, it just means there's probably going to be a lot of contact. It's going to be close racing. There's going to be some beating and banging and stuff like that. So that's why I say it that way. So like when you're at Bristol, so I mean, that's kind of that's what you're talking about. You got high banks in the turns. This thing's got like 28 degrees of banking in the corners here at Newport, like just under 0.4 of a mile. And it's just a cool little racetrack. Cool. So they raced it there for years and years, and I should have looked up some better history on it before I got in here. But anyway, they raced there for years and years, and then basically abandoned it for 15-ish years, 15,
Oh,
20
wow.
years,
Okay.
basically turned into a junkyard. The whole property around it was piled full of junk cars. The infield was piled full of junk cars. The whole area was just turned into a junkyard, literally.
Wow.
And last year they said, "Hey, we're going to bring it back," and they did. Man, they spent so much time and money to get all of those cars out, clean everything up. They raced one race there at the end of last season. It was kind of the first one back. Hey, we're back. And this one was the Ted Caldwell Memorial. It was an 88 lap race, and it's kind of the first kind of big money. Like, hey, the whole infield's paved. We've got new concession stands. We've the track is how it's going to be for the next while, basically.
Okay.
And man, have they done a good job. They spent well north of $1 million
Oh, wow.
at this place.
Okay.
Definitely. I mean, I don't know the official number, but I know it had to have at least been $1 million that they spent to do everything that they did. And they did a very good job. So it was really neat to be back there. And what we were doing is my friend Eugene, who at some point I told Colin before this, whenever he wins a race, that is his requirement. If on our Shift Points YouTube channel, we used to do a podcast, and it was me and him and his son that did a podcast, kind of interviewing him. And Eugene is just an awesome guy, a ton of fun to be around. But I told him, he said, "We're going to come back on the podcast." I said, "When you win another race, when we win another race, you can come back on and we're going to talk about it."
Right on.
And so there's you a little teaser to hold on to. So next time we finally get this monkey off our back and win a race, we'll have Eugene back on and you'll get to meet him. And I think you guys are going to love him because he's a ton of fun to be around. But anyway, so he races a limited late model over there. And the difference between a limited late model and a late model, most late models, there are certain engine requirements, or you can have a quote built motor. So you can
Okay.
basically bring whatever motor you want, but based off of that, you have certain weight requirements and stuff like that. Where a limited car is more supposed to be more budget friendly, so it's more crate and motor based. So 602, 603, 604s, they're in some it depends, and it varies a little bit racetrack to racetrack. Some you can kind of you can bring a built motor, but you might have to run a 2-barrel carburetor on it or something.
Okay.
So there's certain restrictions. And same thing with these 604, you've got to run a 2-barrel carburetor. 602 that we run, you can run a 654 barrel. So I mean, so you have to balance it, and there's certain, and based off of the engine, there's weight requirements, things like that. So it's a more budget, supposedly more budget
racing.
friendly
Yeah.
circle track racing is what that is. And so we were over there doing a little circle tracking, and it was
Right on.
awesome.
That's awesome.
It was a really good weekend. We didn't get the turnout. We didn't get the finish that we wanted. Unfortunately, Eugene, he misjudged the wall a little. Coming up off of turn 4 and kind of smacked the front stretch wall and ended up breaking the track bar. And but if you guys want to, I made a full video, and this is one I'm not normal to be like, oh, I really just love what we did here, but this is one I really enjoyed because it took me so long to figure out how to do it. And basically, I wanted the full-blown NASCAR treatment for one of our races. I wanted in-car audio between me and him because I am his spotter. And so I wanted that dialogue between me and him during the race, you to see what he's seeing, for you to see what I'm seeing. And so to get my GoPro and our DJI that's in the car all synced with the audio synced and how to record the audio, it took me forever to figure out all the parts and pieces. And then once I had them all in one place, for it to finally come together with getting someone to turn the camera in the car, turn my camera on, getting the radio recorded and all of that. There was a lot of parts and pieces that came together, and the editing went quite a bit into it as well. So head over to Shift Points. You can see that one. It's called the Newport Speedway Revival. What is a Spotter is the name of that video.
That's awesome.
So check that out because it is the full race, at least until we went out. And then at the end of it, you can see my cell phone footage of the last 20 laps, because I was at least smart enough to be like, well, we should probably see the end of the race other than just us. So I grabbed my phone and videoed the last of it. So you can see all of that in that video. So, Colin, do you have any questions for me about circle track racing?
I have a few questions
Okay.
about what you were doing specifically.
Okay.
So you said you were the spotter.
Mm-hmm.
what is the spotter for drag racing guys that don't know what all that is?
Oh man. Okay, so a spotter in circle track racing, first and foremost, we are there as a safety feature. So we are there to let the drivers know if there's something going on the track that they need to be aware of, if there's a crash in front of them, or if there's a crash on the other side of the track. Especially at a track like Newport, you're turning in this little less than 0.4 of a mile. You're running 1320s, 1340s second
how
laps.
Fast is that about from the car as far as mile an hour?
I'd have to do the math. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but it's probably in the straightaways. I'm guessing like 80 miles an hour on the straightaways. Maybe that's a guess.
In 0.4. I mean, that's
humming. Yeah. Well, so that's not average. I'm assuming that's kind of top speed. It's probably average speed on the laps, probably quite a bit lower than that. I'll do the math and get back to you because I don't know what it is. Because we don't have we don't have a speedometer in the car or anything. So it's just a tag. So
still quick though.
It's quick. It's not only that we had 22 cars on the track in total. So we're 21 others, including with us, and some of them were significantly slower, or they were just off the pace. They had something go on. And so you're having to kind of dodge the lap cars while also trying to compete and race for the win here. We qualified 6th. We were running 4th at the time that he bumped the wall, hit the wall, I should say. And so like we were competing, and we had a car, we were running right with the leaders so anyway, but first and foremost, I'm a safety feature. I'm there to make him aware of anything that's going on the track. So if you don't do anything else, it's that. The spotter that in circle track racing and NASCAR, that was kind of the very first iteration of a spotter. Okay. That has evolved greatly. If you look at like actual NASCAR full-blown Cup Series, Xfinity Series racing, it's turned into not only are you a safety feature, you are a tool. You are not. I mean, maybe I am, but you know what I'm saying. You're a tool to the team and the driver, and basically, so on top of that, I'm there to let him know. If there's a car on his outside, because you got to think about it, he's got a headrest that runs right here, and so he can't see anything out of the right side of the car. So I need to let him know if there's somebody out there. Even on the inside, you got to think about how fixated he is, basically at right here at the A pillar, and maybe even sometimes out the side window on some of these tracks. He's fixated on where he needs to hit his mark. So sometimes even a car right here, he's not going to see. So I'm there to let him know if there's someone on the inside, the outside. And then, so that's some of the safety part of it. But again, it lets him be able to listen to me and know. And for my job is to paint him a picture of what's going on around him, so that he can focus solely on making the fastest lap and passing the guy in front of him. And then, kind of the third part of that job is to help him, let him know who's around him. It's circle track racing, man. Everybody knows everybody, and everybody's got personalities. There's guys that can be shoved around. There's guys that can't be shoved around. There's guys that will absolutely wipe you out for no reason. Just because it's you had a run in with him 15 years ago at up on the river. It wouldn't have been 15 years ago, but at New Asheville 30 years ago, you had a run in with his or your dad had a run in with his dad, so your families hate each other, and so there's a lot of that in circle track racing.
You didn't hold the door open for him at McDonald's or something.
Could have been. Most of the time, it revolves around a racetrack. Something you did this, you said this, your dad, chopped me during practice, whatever it is. So there's a lot of personality there. So I need to let him know, be aware of who's in front of him, who's behind him, what you can do to let him know how he needs to race, basically. And then again, lap time, stuff like that. So I'm on the radio during qualifying, which is usually a 2-lap run. And so for qualifying, so I'll give him his first time as he goes across the start finish line, so he knows how much harder he needs to push it to get to the pole or whatever. So there's a lot of communication between the two of us on the radio during that time. Okay. So that's what a spotter is, basically, I would say. Okay. And that's and maybe I'm patting myself on the back too much. Most people are gonna watch this. They're gonna be like, "That guy's an idiot." Like,
that's not what a spotter is.
He's a short track racer. Yeah, he's not racing at Charlotte. You know what I mean? Like, what is he talking about? He makes it sound, but the way I look at it is like that. I take it that seriously. Even though we're going to Newport and we're racing short track racing, and, we're no name dudes that are just having fun. But I look at it and I try and be that serious about what I'm doing over there, because I want him. He told me it was a huge. It was what's the word I'm looking for here? I don't want to say honor because it seems so ridiculous, but like it was so cool to hear him say. He told me earlier this season. He said, "Listen, we're not running for points anywhere. We're not going to do any sort of point shake. We're going to go race when we want to race. We're going to go have fun." But if we go to a place like Newport, I need you on the radio. So if there's a race in Newport that I want to go run and you can't go, I'm not going to go. And I was like, well, he said, because I need somebody who knows what's going on. I need someone who knows what's happening. And I was like, that is huge. Like it literally made me like pumped up. I was like, that was super cool for him to say that. Made me feel good because like I said, I do genuinely take it that seriously. I want to see him, we've won a couple races together. But I'm just like, I don't know. I just feel like I didn't know what I was doing back then. Like I took it seriously, but I didn't contribute that much, I don't feel like, to those wins. The car was really good, and I didn't contribute that much. But, like, I'm ready to feel like I contributed and us to win the race and, like, to be super stoked about it. Yeah.
Well, now that you've had experience of a few races under your belt where you won and you have those feelings compiled with, the maturity now and, like, realization of what everything actually is, where you can kind of combine everything into this, like, okay, I know how it feels to win. Those are awesome. I didn't really know what we were doing. Yeah. I know what we're doing now. I have the professionalism to grow through the things that we've had to grow through, like him, tap the wall, all this stuff.
He hit the wall. It wasn't a tap. He hit it pretty good.
Smashed that wall. Anyway.
There you go. He tore the wall down. That's what they would say.
He drove through that wall. He hit some kid in the front row. Anyway. But you have that, to kind of combine it all together into what you hope to be a winning package now that you can really, help contribute into something that's a win. So,
and I say it in the video that we put up. I say, like my contribution to that whole deal is low because like they race out of Asheville, so like I don't have the time or the capacity to go up there and help them wrench on the car, make repairs and stuff like that. That's kind of their thing. Eugene's got other things, but that's kind of one of his things. So like he lots a couple days a week to go up there and wrench on it or work on it, and like I just can't do it. Like I don't have the extra time as much as I would like to have it. I just don't. So that's what part of why I take my job at the racetrack so seriously. I help them change tires, and he trusts me enough to like pull the carburetor and stuff off if we go into tech and stuff like that. So like I have jobs at the racetrack, but that's like when I go out on the track, you need to be on the trailer. You need to be somewhere you can see the track because that's your contribution, and that's the way I look at it. So
that's awesome though.
Yeah,
no, and it makes a lot of sense. A spotter would be that important for events like that too. And especially it being a 13-second lap and there being 88 laps. That's a long race. Oh, and then plus we had anyway. And it is a long race. For 22 cars out in the track and like you said, varying levels of experience and quality of car. Yep. So much can happen so fast. And as a driver, you wouldn't know what would happen. What's happening on the back half?
You think about it. And we had this actually happened during the race. If you're over in 1 and 2, and a guy in 3 and 4 blows an engine, dumps a bunch of oil, and you don't even tell, and you don't know that happened.
And they haven't dropped yellow
yet. You dive off in there and hit a big patch of oil, you're gonna demolish your car more than likely.
Somewhere, yeah.
And so like I need to be okay. And like I let him know because I saw we were in 3 and 4, and I saw just this plume of smoke going. Like, hey, we got one blowing up. Like be careful as we go in here. So yeah, like I like to think that I'm important. Hopefully he'll keep paying my way in if he thinks I'm important, right?
He'll keep buying me hot dogs. I'll be good. Yeah.
That's literally we eat hot dogs. Yeah, he has like a hot dog roller that we keep in the trailer. So that's you didn't even know that. Hot dogs are a racetrack commodity.
Heck yeah.
Cool, so we have a lot of fun with it. But all right, what other questions you got?
No, I was gonna shoot you. So Newport, do you have a spotter stand in Newport? So I know certain tracks have varying levels of accommodations for that.
They absolutely do. So Newport technically has a spotter stand. It is in turn 3. It's a little bit of a weird spotter stand. It's one of the oddest ones that I've been in because you are literally at the entry of 3. So you're looking down the backstretch.
That's
you're
weird.
looking into 4 here, and then you're up high enough you can see the front stretch. But like it makes my job, because part of when he's racing somebody else is to let him know when he's clear. So if you're racing too wide, or if he's on the outside and he rolls to the top and he gets clear, you want to let him know. So because Newport is a mainly one lane dominant track at the bottom.
Yeah.
So if you're able to get around somebody on the top, you're more than likely to want to get to
Need
the
to
bottom
dive
as
down.
fast as
Yeah.
possible, or you'll get hung out on the outside. And so it's hard to clear them. And I told him, and I told Emily when I was working on the video, I said, Eugene's probably going to trust me less after he watches this video, because occasionally you kind of know who you're racing and you don't want them to get another nose on you. So I might clear him when
And
he's
not.
he's clear, but like he is just clear, right? Like I
Yeah.
mean, so like I'll clear him just to make sure that he gets up and like
When there's
closes
like 3
that
feet
door.
between cars.
Sure.
Sure.
Let's call it
okay.
3 feet.
We'll say
Sometimes
a frog
it
hair.
might look
we'll say a
like-
frog hair.
Sometimes it might look like this to
They're
me,
stacked
and I'll
up on
clear
each
him.
other. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm like I know you're probably gonna be clear. So
Well, I mean, at that point, I mean, the level of touch that the 2 cars are going to have, it's not going to be enough to
it
disrupt
shouldn't be
either car.
exactly. It shouldn't.
So, I
be.
mean, it's one of those, like, you're good. Like, go for it. Yeah. I mean, that,
Yeah,
that
and like I
makes a lot
said,
of
there's some
sense.
people you just don't want them on the outside of it. You want that.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, dude, close the door. Like, don't let them in. You know.
Well, that makes a lot of sense, too, because, I mean, no matter what point, whether they're in or out, I mean, people can mess up your day. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
either way. I
Oh,
mean, so,
easy,
So you
easy.
kind of have to be mindful of that kind of stuff, too, especially when they're close on you like that. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, but I don't know what Newport's schedule is, but I know they're kind of planning to run kind of a full season. So if
Right
you
on.
guys are in our area, definitely check them out. I don't know what our next race is going to be. I think it'd probably be an Anderson Speedway race down in Anderson, South Carolina. But he hasn't told me. I don't think he's fully assessed the damage from Saturday night yet.
Is it just the track bar, you think, or is there stuff bent up and broken on the back?
Probably. We're there's a good. The track
Smack
bar
the-
is definitely it's definitely broken. We know that. We think there's a pretty decent chance that the rear end's bent.
Is it like NASCAR low level, a slap in the wall, or is it like...
No, it's like more like I'm telling you. I didn't even. So we were talking about spotter stand, and I didn't kind of complete that thought. Sorry. So there are different
You're good.
ones. There are different ones, and basically they're doing some work on the spotter stand at Newport right now. And I'm not sure if they're building a new one or like what they're doing, but they had us up on top of the very top of the grandstands because it's like concrete grandstands, and so we were at the very top of them. And I honestly didn't see it. Where he did it was up off of it was past the flag stand. So he was kind of if you're looking at the racetrack, he was kind of arching out. So he was kind of going out at the flag stand. He would basically be at
Yeah.
the wall, and that's where he kind of
So it's
misjudged
like
it
under
a
the
little.
wall, kind of, you didn't see
Yeah,
it.
and so
Okay.
where I'm at, there's people standing here, and I can and he. He smacked her pretty good, and he caught it with the front, and then the back end kind of came around. And I had no idea. He came over the radio when there was a caution came out not long after that, and he said, "Hey, I ran into the wall." And I was like, "I didn't even see it. No idea." And so that's a struggle. So there is,
Yeah.
and depending on the racetrack, Anderson has built what looks to be a very nice new spotter stand. It's a very fresh build. You used to have to spot in a building at Anderson. So like the main building, Anderson's a
Like
weird
the-
little racetrack.
Like
It's
the timing tower almost. You have to like...
yeah, basically, yeah. So there was like a section, and you would literally be like from me to you to the guys that are announcing the race, and we're here in this, and they have like these little slide open windows. It's 5,000 degrees in this building because there's
awesome.
no air
That's
in
awesome.
it, no fans. It is so hot, and you're literally there's these glass panels, but like every other panel is open when they slide open. So you either, if you don't get there early enough, you're spotting behind glass, which
you're
is
just
just
like-
it's so weird.
It's like,
And so I would always get up there really early so I
Yeah.
could at least get on one side so I could see an open one. But anyway, they've built a nice new one. But
That's cool.
definitely the variance of spotter stands is great.
I can imagine the Lodogo, especially
Mm-hmm.
Lodogo short tracks around here. I mean, they're probably very...
Yeah.
And I know even listening to some of the door bumper clear stuff, professional tracks, they're no better. I mean, as far as...
because you got to think
you
about
can't
the
see.
scale.
Yeah.
Like we're racing a little less than 0.4 of a mile. Them guys are racing at 2.5 mile
Miles,
tracks.
yeah.
Which I know that's not usually their biggest complaint. Phoenix is a hard one. Pocono's a hard one, but Pocono's that way.
Yeah.
2.5 mile track, and they're having to spot down the front straightaway. So to clear somebody going into one,
You can't see it really.
to judge.
You're seeing the tops and the backs
You're
of the
seeing
cars.
this. You're
Yeah.
seeing that, and so you've got to try and clear him off of that. And so it's tough. It's really hard.
That's
so
crazy.
it's hard to get it right everywhere.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, I mean, they try, and like I said, luckily Anderson, I didn't realize it was happening. So I was really glad to see that, because it's
cool.
outside, it's in front of the building, so I don't have to stand in that bajillion degrees building. At least there's a breeze out here usually. But yeah, so that's nice.
Not sweating and hating life.
Exactly. Yeah. There's, because especially with the glasses, so you've got the headphones like this, you got the glasses, and
just
then there's
dripping
like
sweat
and it just runs down your glass.
So you're just crying, and you're
It's
just
like,
sitting there. Yeah.
So you're like, during caution, you pull them off real quick, wipe them, and put them back on. Try and yeah.
See, I'd have sunscreen on, so that you'd be getting sunscreen in your eyes, and they'd be burning. You're
That's
like,
true too.
This is the most miserable thing ever. Yeah, I get that.
So I'm sure there'll be more circle track stuff. Actually, I know there'll be more circle track stuff come up. But like, is there anything else coming out of that you're like confused? Not confused about, but like you're like wondering about. Like you're like, why?
I'm trying to think. It's like, no, because it's just like a totally different world. So it's one of those things you're like, I don't know what to ask because you don't know. I mean, it's some of that stuff.
You'll have to come with us sometime.
Yeah,
you just
have to come out.
I think.
Yeah.
Maybe you're our good luck charm. Maybe if you come, we win the race, and then you can bring.
Yeah. Then I have to go to everything.
I wasn't saying that, but
then I have to
sure,
go to
that
everything.
works. Yeah, they would. Yuji would literally be like, "You have to come now."
Come now.
And you talk. There's
Him and Jake,
superstition.
Oh, I know.
Superstition in racing. I know it's like that in drag racing, but like circle track stuff is wild.
My wife, she did quarter midgets and stuff when she was younger.
Yeah.
And her family friends that basically were the reason that they did quarter midgets. They did 410 sprints. They did a whole World of Outlaw stuff.
Man, those guys, they're next level.
I think they still do stuff. I don't know what degree, but they still do a lot of sprint car stuff.
Just like super quick side note, them guys, no spotters. They don't run spotters.
I know. They just haul.
It's nuts.
It's wild.
It's crazy.
And she was talking about. I was lost my train of thought.
Talking about Abby and quarter midgets and all of that.
Totally lost what I was gonna say.
You're talking about
the good luck charm thing got me.
Good luck charm thing got you.
Hang on.
You're talking about circle track stuff. Talking about Abby. Quarter midget. Superstitions.
Superstitions. That's what it was. Okay, thank you.
I get it. We'll both get back there.
See, there we go.
Teamwork.
Yeah, teamwork. No, but the superstitions. So that family, the dad, which it was like 3 generations of sprint car guys.
Yeah.
Dad said no peanuts at the racetrack.
Oh no. Oh, you don't bring peanuts to the racetrack.
Yeah, see, that was the thing.
No.
But Abby brought peanuts when we went to the drag strip, and that's when I got my Trip Zip Light.
So you got to bring peanuts to the drag strip. So now it was one of those things. She's like, well, apparently for drag racing, peanuts aren't a thing. Yeah.
But she made the comment. She's like, you never bring peanuts to the track.
Even now, they're like, our guys are like that too.
That's funny. It wasn't just for them.
No, it's circle track racing in general.
That's funny.
Like even NASCAR guys are like that.
Really?
Like, yeah. So like no peanuts.
What's the deal with that?
I don't know. I have to look it up.
Okay.
There was it's something
like
to do.
a Bobby Allison thing, or is it some weird like?
I don't know.
Bill France, like
no, I'd be guessing. I don't know what it is. I'll have to look. We'll look at it. We'll bring it up. We'll talk about it next time.
Those revenuers would bring peanuts, and they would take our moonshine.
I don't even think it was that. I think it was already like when it was an established thing. But anyway, so like that's green race cars. Like there's a superstition about that. You can't have a green race car. Ask Dale Jr. Them Mountain Dew years didn't go so great, so I don't know. But
that's true.
So I'm trying to think of another one.
I always thought brown race cars. That was a thing. I thought.
Oh yeah, brown race cars. I hadn't heard that one.
Or maybe it's just because they're ugly and you can't get sponsorships for them.
Like nobody wants to be on a
brown race car. A turd race car.
A turd going down the track.
That's funny. No, I didn't. That's funny though. That she always just said you don't bring peanuts, and it was just like a. Nope, Mike Senior.
And it's a known. It's a known.
That's funny.
It's just like a known thing in the circle track world. You just don't do that.
She's just like Senior always said. You don't bring peanuts, and that was just something they didn't do. That's funny though.
And we'll be interested to find that out. We'll talk about that next time. Okay. I'll look that up, and we can put a closed mark on that peanut.
And peanuts.
Yeah, the peanut superstition.
Someone was allergic to peanuts one time. And
could be literally that. Never know.
That'd be funny.
But yeah, but like I said, we'll get you to come because you'll probably have more questions after. Because like I feel like there's a lot of things that happen at the circle track that are just so normal to me, just because I've just been around it, that I feel like an outside person will come in and they'll be like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Yeah. And like everybody there is like so accustomed to it. They're just like, it's just what you do.
This is what happens. Yeah.
So especially with you having almost no circle track experience.
I've been to like 5 races ever.
Right.
As far
but
as
never
circle
in like
track.
the pits or anything, right?
No.
Yeah.
If it was after the race because we would walk through the pits, then we go hang out, and then we would go back when the races were done. And
Right.
I mean, there was probably ability for me to go to certain events and stuff, and I just never did. It was just
I should get you to come, and we could do like a Landon Huffman style like race day vlog.
There you go.
And like
I'll be
vlog, and you could be the video guy so that I don't have to think about it, which would be cool because again, I take my job very serious at the racetrack.
So I get to screw up and
no, it's more that I worry that when I'm like trying to set up the video cameras and do everything that I was doing on Saturday night, that it's going to take away something from my spotting.
Yeah.
And so like that's why I've been so hesitant to do it, is like I don't want to do something poorly in the spotter stand because I'm thinking about the camera or a mic or something like that. And so that's part of why I've put that off for as long as I have. So maybe
sense.
I don't know.
Yeah,
we'll talk about it. We'll see. It might be kind of cool. I don't know. I've never actually watched one of his vlogs, so I'm curious about what all they cover because I have
watched
no
a
idea.
little bit of them, and they're interesting listening to him talk about just certain things.
Do they talk about like setup, like things that they're changing and stuff?
A little bit.
Okay.
They talk about like putting turns in certain things and doing, putting weight here and hold your tongue this way.
Yeah. I'll watch it. We'll watch a couple. I'm just curious because again, you might have questions that you could ask during it that you wouldn't. That,
like
that
I know
for
like
a good video.
I know like shocks and stuff like those are super important. Spring rates. I know because there was a circle track guy that lived next door to us, and I helped him a little bit with stuff, and he talked about like the turns and like that's tightening up the suspension, and you do this, you do that.
Yep.
But I'm like, okay, I don't understand as far as like, but why? Like.
Yeah, that's
I understand.
I don't know. I don't know all that stuff either.
But I know how to make a car go straight,
Right.
down a drag strip, and you need to do this, you add that, and I know that much of that, and there's nothing as far as aside from like I said, NASCAR Heat 5, where you put more weight over there because the car's going to roll that way, so that matters more.
Right.
I kill tires faster on the right side.
Right. Yeah, you want your weight on the left side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
Okay.
pushing.
Right.
You're pushing.
Okay. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, gotcha.
You put more spring over there to get more weight over there.
Yeah. Okay, understood.
That's what I meant.
Yeah,
That's what I meant.
That's why. Okay. All right, I'm with you now. I was back on board. I was like, you're gonna want right side weight.
Yeah, because there's more weight always on that side because you're turning always. So it's
right.
You want to try to
the
get
forces.
as much. Yeah.
Yeah. Understand.
Spring rate.
I'm back with you.
Spring weight. Spring
Get
weight.
me back on board.
Yeah. I guess that's.
I was about to be like, Colin. No.
No.
Come on now.
You want everything on the left because the left doesn't have any pressure ever on it, really. So it's,
comparatively
speaking.
No. So anyway,
back to drag racer knowing nothing.
So by the way, sometimes the podcast is us brainstorming ideas on next videos. Apparently, that was the first time we've done that.
That's
but
funny.
Maybe we can do something like that. That'd be a pretty good time, I think.
Yeah, and we can talk to whatever track you'd be going to and try to bring the drone out. And
that would be cool too.
Like that too.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool. We'll have to. I don't know where we're going, but we pretty much. I mean, Eugene, not me. Eugene pretty much knows everybody because he's like
been around a time or two.
That and just like it's his personality. He just like knows everybody. Like if he does it, he's gonna know them by the time they leave, kind of thing. So it would be. I'm sure we can get. I think we can get permission to do some stuff like that. Would be pretty neat.
It'd be hard to believe a track would be like, no, you can't promote our track.
You would be surprised, but
really,
yeah, you would be surprised.
I mean, unless it's a safety issue, most dragger
that might be it more than anything.
Most tracks would be like.
I think more than likely they would just say don't fly it over the track, the racing surface.
Yeah, unless it was like a pre-race event thing, and you're just like, all right, I just want an overarching shot of everything real quick. Thank you.
Yeah. So anyway, let's see. That'll be interesting. Just tune in, subscribe to all of our channels, and we'll see where that lands.
Which one it goes to? Yeah, it might be here. It might be wherever.
Yeah, exactly.
The Let It Ride podcast, maybe a documentary channel. You never know.
Maybe. That would be kind of cool. Anyway, so we did talk about, we're not just talking about circle track racing this week. We are also wanting to talk about, and we talked about it at the end of the last podcast, about the Sick Smokies event that's coming up in October. Colin and myself and our families, his mom, Abby's going with him, Dad's going with me, of course.
We snuck in.
Who?
We snuck in.
Oh, yeah. We didn't sneak in. I think we were at the front of the line, to be honest with you. We got registered, and because, me and Colin are pretty anal about things like this. I feel like I was sitting there at like 8:45. So the registration opened at 9 o'clock.
Like 8:15. I was just sitting there hanging out, just like.
Well, the only reason I think we run downstairs and ate breakfast because we were at South Georgia for the Gasser race.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
We were out of town, so we ran down and eat breakfast. And I was like, all right, 8:45, and I went through the whole thing, got ready to get registered. But basically, this thing sold out in like a couple minutes.
Yeah, like 2 minutes maybe.
It was really quick. I don't know how many spots they had, but it sold out almost immediately.
I know how upset some people were on like the Facebook groups and stuff like that after. They're like,
well, I was going to be upset if like I got in and you didn't, or you got in and I didn't. I would have been mad, but I'd have been like,
I would have been upset too.
Oh my gosh, seriously?
Like, really? Yeah.
Yeah, that would have sucked.
Well, my mom took a minute because she had to do it on her phone because she
yeah.
opened up her laptop. And her laptop said, it's time to update because it's Microsoft and that's what they do.
Yeah.
And it was like, you can't do anything about this and you're stuck here. Ha! And I think it was like 65 or 75% or something like that when she opened it, you know, when it was time. So she was doing everything on her phone to try to get in, that's terrible. And she was like, okay, what about this? Then? And then I'm in. All right, cool.
Yeah.
And it was interesting. The Sick magazine event versus like Hot Rod Drag Week, because when I registered for Drag Week, all the info we had to fill out for that thing after, you had to fill all that out when you registered.
Oh my gosh.
So I had it already all pre-filled.
What he's talking about is like name, address, your insurance, the year and make of your car, what class you're going to run.
I mean, there's probably 25 questions they're asking you. Easy. And then it throws those out at you, and then you're like, okay, I have to fill all those out, and then you have to hit submit. And literally, I think Drag Week, it sold out in like a minute and a half, 2 minutes. Because that's what Drag Week does. It's just super fast. But I had it all pre-filled out first, and when you hit submit, it said no. So you had to refresh. And then but I had it on autofill already.
Oh, okay.
So I basically clicked and it autofilled 85% of it.
Yeah.
So then I just like filled in the
rest.
Gaps. And, you know, being 26, I'm quick.
Yeah,
I'm quick on the gun as far as that stuff versus a 65-year-old dude trying to figure out what he's doing.
Right.
No offense to you. I'm just like, I've been, I've grown up in technology.
We've always had computers. Exactly.
So, so seeing that, I was like, oh, this is so much easier. I just have to like, put it in my cart and buy.
And
this
then,
is cool.
And then, of course, why they ever thought that was a good idea, I don't know. Just get your ticket, get in, and then we'll send you that after the fact, and you can fill it out.
It's Hot Rod Magazine.
Yeah, true. Yeah, magazine world.
Yeah, don't ask them. They know better than everyone else.
So,
nothing against Hot Rod
we
Magazine.
probably should. I feel like we probably should have covered this a little bit more. So, what is Sick Smokies? Sick Smokies is a drag and drive event, and it's something that if you followed our channel for a while, something that we have been dying to do for a long time. And Colin has been fortunate enough to take place in one of them.
Yep,
one of them so far.
Yeah. So first off, there's a lot of people that haven't ever heard of a drag and drive event, which I don't know if we're even allowed to say drag and drive right now.
Who cares?
Drag, drive, repeat, whatever. Anyway, a drag and drive event is a drag racing event similar to Power Tour, but it's a drag racing specific style event. And I think there's like 50 of them this year, I think, happening.
There's a lot.
There's a lot of them happening. They've blown up the last 3-4 years, really.
Yeah.
But basically, the entire event's like a Power Tour, but you're drag racing. So there's different classes of cars. There's anything from, I think the fastest cars are like 5-second street cars. And then
pro mods.
Yeah, pro mods.
Pro mods that they drive on the street.
Yeah.
It's wild.
And then there's slow cars like 25-second, Jeeps and trucks and stuff because someone just got in. They're really cool because like Drag Week specifically, there was 5 tracks over 5 days and a 1,000-mile road trip. Some of them are further, some of them are smaller. This one, Sick Smokies is going to be an 8th mile event, which I've never done an 8th mile specific drag and drive. Most Sick the Mag, I think their Sick Week, Sick Miles or Sick Summer, I think is a quarter-mile event.
Yep.
And then Hot Rod Drag Week, obviously, and then the 1320 Rocky Mountain Race Week. That's a quarter-mile event
stuff,
too.
yeah.
Which Rocky Mountain Race Week, this is always the long haul one. I think they sometimes do like 2,000-mile drives.
I didn't realize it was that long.
Well,
That's
because
crazy.
they have like day events where like you're driving. That's all you're doing today.
Which we have one of those during Sick Smokies. We have a drive event, which I assume is when we're going to go through Tail of the Dragon.
I think that's Which that's a little sneak peek in as far as our trip, but I mean, there's certain events where there's some. I think Sick the Mag is the head of a lot of this at this point.
Yes.
Now
They're kind of the pinnacle.
They're the pinnacle.
Hot Rod started it. Hot Rod Drag Week. David Freiberger and that group is the brainchild of
Mike
this.
Mike Delemy, I think, is the guy.
Is that who it was?
I think he was him and Freiberger. I think were the two main guys that started the whole thing. And then it's basically they had it. I mean, I think they had their 25th anniversary. This year.
Like so. It's been going on for so long, and it's hard to imagine because, like Colin said, it's blown up so much in the past. Let's say 5 years to give it a little runway. So in the past 5 years, it's really blown up, but it's been going on for so long. So long now, 25 years.
And it was one of those things where, as a kid, I always wanted to do drag week, and it was just like at some point I want to do that in a car. I don't care how fast I'm going. I want to do it.
Just want to do it.
I just want to do it, and. 2023 they had drag week, and it was literally when we were in Tennessee, Bristol, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, it was all around here. It was in your backyard. It was in our backyard, and it was one of those deals, we have to do this. If we can get in, we're doing this. And we ended up doing it, and it was the greatest experience I've ever had in a car, like as far as like the most fun drag racing thing I've ever done in my entire life. It was just awesome. It was super cool. Did
you do it by yourself, or did your dad? Your dad. That's right. Yeah, you're right. Okay.
And I think I had a 1269 average and like 107. I think is what my average was. The best.
Because that's what you're trying to do, right? You're trying to run, depending on your class, and depends on what you're racing. But in general, like in your generalized drag and drive stuff, you're trying to run the lowest average speed each day, or ET, I should say. You're trying to run the lowest average ET over those 5 days, and the person that you take those 5 numbers, you add them together, divide by 5. That number, whichever one is the fastest, the lowest number, you're the winner. That's kind of what you're trying to achieve. Now there are some events out there. I know like Southeast Street and Yeet, they have like a dial your own. So not only are you're not trying to have the lowest, you're trying to have the same number every day. So it's like more like a bracket race, right? So you're trying to run whatever it is.
Those guys are crazy.
890 or whatever, and you're trying to run 890 on the nose every time, and you're trying to get the closest to that number as you can, which it kind of opens it up to more people because you can dial it whatever you want, but you got to try and hit that every day.
There's dial your own. There's I know Drag Week did it, and there's like Rowdy Radial. There's one. There's like Street Machine Eliminator, which is a 10-0 index basically. Then there's some events where they do index racing where it's like a 12-0, 13-0, 14-0. There's different classes. Then there's like small block. There's small block power outer. There's NA small block. There's street race small block stuff. I mean, it's just different. There's pro street. There's pro mod. There's unlimited iron, which is all steel body cars. There's a lot of just really cool different ways that they try to incorporate as many different people and kind of cars into events to where, like you said, the dial your own. You can run those. There's bullseye. There's dial your own bullseye, which I don't know how they do it exactly because I've never been with one, but my understanding is they basically pick a number. Like, so if you're, they'll pick the 100th numbers. So if it's, your car runs 1250s, they're going to pull a 1232. They're going to pick a .32. Okay. So now all the cars in the bullseye have to run something with a .32 in it. So now if you're a 1250 car, I don't think you're hitting the 1232. So you're going to have to dial back to a 1332.
And try and hit it.
So now you have to hit a 1332.
Gotcha.
So there's different ways that they do stuff. And
it changes. It is changing constantly. That's what I think that's probably what has made the drag and drive scene like so to blow up all of a sudden is like they have went out of their way to accommodate as many different types of cars and people as you possibly can. They basically said, we want everybody to come and do one of our events, where if you look at sanctioned bodies, NASCAR, NHRA, and stuff like that.
I mean, there's all
these different ones that have kind of really locked it off and said, okay, this is what we are, and that's what we're sticking to. Drag and Drive said, bring them in. Everybody, anything, whatever you got, we'll make a class and we'll make it work.
Yeah. I mean, Drag and Drive was really cool because even in Hot Rod Drag Week, which is, the granddaddy of all of them. It should be the most technically quote unquote professional. There were dudes out there running in 15-second blazers and stuff, and they had couch cushions and stuff in the back of them because they were sleeping in the cars.
Sleeping in the car.
Because
Right.
they're just going to the next track and they just sleep in the parking lot and they'd be there. I mean, I don't know how much more low-do go green, grassroots you can get. Whereas, like you said, NHRA, I mean, Super Comp now has been who's the coolest toter home. I mean, event. That's what it's become. I mean, Jeff has a construction company, and he goes, "If you guys need me, I'm gonna be racing. I'm gonna be racing. So it better be good if you're calling me. I'm out of here." And some 55, 60-year-old dude that's basically retired, and he's running his Super Comp dragster or pro, and that's just what he does.
Yeah, multi-millionaire racing, you know, which we talked about last time. There's
nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with it at all. And like to yell and scream and growl about it is silly. I won't get into that rant again.
It's just the reality is.
That's how it is.
That's how it is. And that's how the NHRA has been now for the last probably 10, 15 years at this point. Easily. I know there's sportsman classes and there's stuff like that you can run, but they're just not seen as well.
Right.
And
no, definitely not.
And
don't get the exposure they need.
No, and if you don't have sponsorships and stuff, you can't really get there. But drag and drive and things like that, I mean, we can take 2 cars out and you rent Airbnbs throughout the week, and 4 or 5 of your buddies can all go out, run your hot rods. You don't care if you win or lose or anything, but hey, I did this. Oh, hey, I did that. Oh, hey, let's go do this. And then you get to go the whole, it's just an awesome event. I mean, and every single day, the whole goal is for everyone to finish.
Yep.
No one cares about, there's competition, but everyone wants you to finish.
Yeah, that's the other side of what has made Drag and Drive explode is this kind of community aspect of it. You're not competing in the same way that you would at a drag strip. You're not like, oh, I've got to beat that guy. You don't care what that guy's doing. When you roll out on the track, that he is doing his own thing completely. You are focused only on whatever your goal is to accomplish that week. You do not care about who's in the other lane, which makes it cool because in the pits, if something breaks or if something goes on, or on the side of the road because you got to drive between these events, you're going to see guys stopping and helping and doing this because you want to see that guy accomplish his goal. Yeah. On top of you doing yours, you want to help them. So that's the other side of it. On top of the welcome everybody, you also have the, we want everyone to succeed basically. And so that's why Drag and Drive is so cool and why we're so excited to do this.
Yeah. And I know the last one that I did, I knew people that were on the event, and we got to cruise with some of them, but I didn't know the people that I know now. Yeah. So now that we know, Chris, we know his buddy Matt, we know
Raj.
Raj is going.
Through Chris. I wouldn't say I know him well, but I know of him and met him before. But
yeah, I think off the top of my head, I know 6 or 7 people easily that are going to be there. Adam Lohorn and his dad are going to be there.
Did they get registered? I wasn't sure. I didn't hear if they were going or not.
I
hope they bring Rod Slinger. That would be super cool.
I think they did early because they have Rod Slinger. So.
Gotcha.
But and I don't know if we'll be cruising with them because they'll probably be a little busy with Rod Slinger. But
probably. But I would if they're there, I'm gonna do my best to cruise with them because they're like them are fun guys.
They're super cool dudes. But that's just the thing. You get to meet all these really cool people, and then it's almost like you're just in a friend group of all these dudes that are all doing the same thing,
and you're all connected, and you're all spending money you don't have to go fast because
why? Because why?
Because we don't know. Because that's all we all think about.
Because we have little brains, and we just like things that go vroom.
But anyway, so there's our passion for Drag and Drive. So
we just went down this 20-minute tangent on Drag and Drive.
Let's dig into the details of Sick Smokies and why we were excited about it. And I know Colin mentioned to me off camera about this, like how we got involved. He was talking about it. It was something he'd been wanting to do for a long time. Well, similar for us, we saw Hot Rod Drag Week and we said we got to do something like that. But then back then it wasn't as accessible as it is today, and we didn't really have anything that really fit the bill. And then we took Dad's truck on Hot Rod Power Tour in 2023, which was the main purpose for that truck, and we made it about 3 days in that. And we were driving to the next venue, and I looked over at Dad and I said, do you know what would be really cool? He said, what? And I said, if we were drag racing every time that we were doing these stops instead of just like hanging out and looking at a car show. He went, yep. And that was it. And we were basically we basically said, Power Tour's cool. but we're not really interested. We got it. We want to compete.
I want to go racing.
We want to go racing. And like, that's, man, I can't make it more clear to people how bad we want to do that. And so anyway, so that was literally like day 3 of Power Tour. We pretty much decided, well, this is probably our first and last Power
one.
Tour, or if if it opens up, or if it's not some, if this turns into our job, then maybe that'd be cool that we could go on Power Tour. But priority number 1 is to go on a drag and drive event, and that's what we're taking. His dad's 55 truck. I know Colin's going to take his Nova as long as he gets his rust repair fixed, and
it'll be band-aided together for that.
It'll be fixed. You'll get it. You'll get it back fixed good, I'm sure. But okay, Sick Smokies super fast. I want to talk you guys through the schedule.
So
and
it's April 12th to the 19th, right? Those are the days, I think.
Sorry?
Or October 12th to the 9th.
Yeah, it was like April. That ain't right.
Yeah,
It's already passed.
Yeah.
October 12th to the 19th.
That's right, yeah.
So day 0, which is basically your day, you tech in, you do all of that stuff, is going to be at Rocket City Dragway. That's in Huntsville, Alabama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where
Huntsville.
NASA is. Nashville. NASA.
Is it?
Yeah, NASA. That's...
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I
That's
think
why it's called Rocket City.
Yeah.
Learn something every day, don't you? All right, so we're there Sunday and Monday, so we'll race there on Monday, and then we will drive from there up toward Nashville, because day 2 on Tuesday is at Music City Raceway, and that's because it's in Nashville. In case you guys were wondering, I also saw Chris and Raj there testing this week. I was like, look at them.
Look at the track.
I think they were there testing. Were they just looking at it?
I'm not sure.
I know. Making fun of him if he's just looking at it. Surely he took the car. He lives right there.
I know Chris has said he's been down that track a lot.
Okay, gotcha. All right, so maybe that was it. Yeah. Maybe Raj just wanted to go see it and see what was up.
Yeah, maybe.
So then after we leave Music City Raceway in Nashville, we will drive toward Fitzgerald Motorsports Park on Wednesday, October the 5th, and that is Crossville.
Yeah, that's
what they would call it. Yeah, that's what we would call Crossville. I know they've got a new name for it now. But Crossville, then we'll race there, and then we'll drive toward Knoxville on Thursday,
cool
October 16th. Well, I've been there for a Southeast Gasser event. Yeah. Awesome little racetrack.
I raced there last year. It was a cool little track.
I'm completely blanking on the owner's name, but
he's really nice.
He's a super dude. Yeah, Randy really thought the world of him.
Funny.
And I know it's something Buck. Is that right?
Oh, yeah. Not West.
It's not West Buck. That's Drag Illustrated. Anyway, I feel really bad that I can't remember his name, but I will figure it out before then.
Right now. I can see him.
I can too. Yeah. So anyway, so then we're at Knoxville, and then on Friday is our drive day. And so that is kind of, we laughed about this because as we go through this schedule, they named it Sick Smokies. And you look at it, and you're barely in the Smoky Mountains. And so that was why we were super stoked about this, because we thought it was going to be like more in this area, which would have been really cool. But I know what happened. Someone said, we want to do a drag and drive event. I said, okay, cool. And they said, we wanted to do like one of these one-off ones that we do for Sick Week, like for the Sick Mag. I said, okay, cool. And then they said, we should make drag racers go down the tail of the dragon. And they were like, yeah, that'd be really cool.
And that was the best way to get
And then they were like, let's name it Sick Smokies. And they're like, yeah, that'd be really cool. And then they said it, and they did it, and they were like, oh, crap, where are we going to race that? Yeah. And so I'm certain that's what's happened. They said, we should make drag racers go down the tail of the dragon. It's in the Smoky Mountains. We'll call it Sick Smokies. And they're like, but we're going to race all over here. On this side of the Smokies.
Because then after the drive day, it's back to Huntsville, right? That's the next track?
Brainerd. So
Brainerd.
So,
okay.
So after the drive day...
I'm stoked about Brainerd.
Are you?
I've heard a lot about Brainerd.
They raced a Gasser race down there. Yeah. They said it was a really nice place. It's in North Georgia, right? And so anyway, so we have the drive day where we're going to go down the tail of the dragon and all of that. So I'm pretty sure that's why we just have a full-on drive day on Friday. Then, like I said, then from the next day we'll be at Brainerd. We'll race at Brainerd and then drive back over to Huntsville and finish up at Rocket City on the last day on Sunday. So this is that's the rundown of the schedule.
I think when we did the math, it was about 1,000-mile drive.
I think for us, like by the time we drive down there and by home, I think it was going to be close to 1,200 miles. Okay. For like I said, that's including the drive down and the drive back home. So it's going to be a haul. It's going to be a neat deal, though. I think for us, I mean, let's be honest. Right now, where we're filming, I've still never been down the drag strip. I know. I break Colin's heart every time I say that. And again, I think we talked about it last time. I think me and Dad have gotten fixated on having to have only a purpose-built drag car to go down the drag strip, and that's hogwash. Like, that's not how it has to be, and that's why I think I was so glad that we are pushing to make the truck kind of be this multi-purpose deal and to do this event. And so I'm almost certain that the first time I go down the drag strip, it'll be in that truck. Actually, I know that's how it's going to be. That's what will happen because I'm going to make it happen. I hope it's at Greer Dragway my first time, just because Greer has a lot of history in our family and people in this area. And so is my goal, is the first time to go down the drag strip in that truck at Greer Dragway. It's just a personal thing for me.
I get it.
And so I hope that's how that ends up happening. I think I've bit off a lot, to be honest with you, to say this is what we're gonna do, and I've never been on the drag strip as of April. What is today? April 24th.
Only you knew.
I know. I told Dad, I was like, "You realize I've never been on the drag strip?" And he's like, "Yeah, I know." He sat there for a minute, and he went, "You're gonna love it." And I was like, "I know." I was like, "You don't have to tell me. I know I'm gonna love it."
I know. I mean, so my first pass was, I don't know if it was on my birthday, but it was the same week as my birthday. It was the Wednesday of my 16th birthday.
Okay.
Is when we went and drag raced.
Gotcha.
And it was in November because November 5th is my birthday. iPhone?
Is it me? It's you. Oh, okay. Making me work.
I know. Hello.
Are you dead?
I am.
Hi, Abby.
No, you're fine. Here. You're on speaker.
You have interrupted a podcast.
You're on speaker.
Because you've interrupted us and I'm upset. Now you're making me have to edit more.
I'm so sorry.
I'm just kidding. I'm not actually upset. You know why I'm not upset? Because I'm not actually going to cut any of this.
This is going to stay in the video.
This is going to be right there.
Are we out of coconut? Is that what you just said?
No, I'm asking if we're out of coconut.
I don't.
Out of coconut?
We give our dogs
You guys-
coconut.
Oh, okay.
Coconut
I
oil.
was like-
It helps their digestion.
It helps their digestive and gives them
Alright.
a fluffier.
Yeah, of course. It lubes them up.
You just said it lubes them up. If we don't have it up on that shelf, then I don't think we have any.
Okay, cool.
I'm sorry.
Never calling you again.
Oh, man.
Love you.
Okay, love you. I'll let you know when I'm leaving. Okay. Love you. Bye.
That was funny. Like I said,
Okay.
staying in.
Staying in.
Especially that lubrication part. That's got to stay.
Okay, what was I saying?
All right. You're talking about your first pass, 16.
Yeah. So it was in my dad's 72 Nova. And that was one of those things where it's like I hadn't done a burnout before my 16th birthday because I was like, I'm in the Nova, and the Nova's a one-legger. My dad literally taught me how to do a burnout like 2 nights before, and we literally just rolled up there, and I lost first round in bracket racing. But I mean, that was one of the coolest things ever. You're like, I can just floor it, and you just this is awesome. Yeah. This is so cool. You're shifting, and there's a car next to you. I think my first light was a 20 light, like 0.02.
That's pretty good.
My first ever light. Yeah. It was one of those just like, and go. And he told me go and just swap pedals.
Did you keep your first time slip?
It's somewhere, I'm sure.
You have it somewhere. I'm
sure
just like, I don't know. That's like something that's another one of those things that's like completely in my head. I'm like, I just want that slip.
I'm going to frame that
000 frame. Oh, you should. You should definitely frame the 000. But that first one, I want that first one to have for like, because like, look over here. You can't see it off camera, sorry. But like some of these, this is off of the old A&H drag strip that was in Asheville.
That's cool.
This was one of Dad's kind of, I don't know if I should call him a mentor, but somebody that Dad really looked up to. His name was Shorty Radford. But those are time slips from back then, and that's from like the 50s, 60s.
Like business cards. Those are cool.
Yeah, and handwritten.
That's
like
awesome.
This car was in the street stock class, and it ran at this mile an hour.
Like carpal tunnel, right? All of those
and you can absolutely picture the person it was. It was like the track owner's wife.
Oh yeah,
who's probably wearing like these little
100%.
glasses, has this like perfect handwriting. She's just like
there was this, at Sac Raceway. There was always this old lady that was out in the thing, and she had a little Chihuahua with her, and she was friendly. She was super nice. I mean, all the time. Once we started racing a lot, and we were out there for the week drags and stuff like the Wednesday night drags. Me and there was at least 4 other people that wore shorts when we were racing.
Okay.
It's just like,
Yeah, because it's hot.
it's hot. I don't care. It's 100 degrees. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to catch on fire. It's fine.
Right.
And she's like, you better not be wearing shorts this weekend. I'm like, don't worry, I won't be. But they're like, no one cared. It was just when
Yeah.
you started to become a track regular, they're just
Right.
like, let them do what they want. That's
Right.
fine.
Yeah.
Like,
Makes
you got
sense.
shorts, right? You got pants, right? Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
No.
I definitely got them.
I got them. You signed the release, right? Yeah, I did. All right.
Like,
you're-
okay,
you're
cool.
whatever.
That's all I care
That's all I
about.
care about, yeah. No, but it's really cool. And I know I've kept, like, I have some of the fastest passes or, like, the fastest 60 foots the car made when it was, like, a 189 and things like that when, you know, my first 100-mile-an-hour pass, my first 13-second
Right.
pass, I have those. And then I had to give in my first 12-second pass time slip because it was during drag week. But I
Oh.
have the average
Gotcha.
time slip,
Right.
which Tanya Turk signed it.
Oh, that's
it
cool.
has her
That is
signature
cool,
on
yeah.
it, so it's kind of cool.
So they keep those, so you don't even get them back at the end of the week. Oh man, that sucks. I didn't
Yeah.
know that. That's sad.
So whichever one you turn in, that's
It-
the one you have. So
Right.
like my first 1250 pass, I had to turn that one in because I had a 1250 and that was the only pass I made. I was like, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm not making another pass. We got to go. So it was just one of those things, but it's cool to do those kind of events. And first off, just drag racing in general is awesome. And then another to all the different tracks you get to go to
Yeah.
and you get to see
Right.
the way the protocol with everything because every track's a little different the way they
Nuances,
work
yeah,
and there's
they're
all the nuances and they're like houses. When you go into a house,
Yep.
it's just like totally different. You're like, so that's where the trash is. Oh, this is
Right,
it's just
right.
kind of these funny quirks that they all have. And like I know like Carolina Dragway, you go up in the burnout box and the shut off was super short and you're like, oh crap, this is where I have to turn. Okay. And you're like, where am I going?
But
I don't
you're
know.
learning it all on the fly,
literally,
you know?
because no one's there to teach you. Okay, we're all gonna go down this way, and this is how we go. No, you're just
They're like, if you want to do that, then come to these drag strips before the event and figure it out, you know?
So literally, the first time you see a return road at a drag strip is you went down the track, and you're like, okay, where am I turning? Oh, I'm going left. Okay, that's where I'm going. It's like,
Right.
you're like, oh, cool. Like Carolina Dragway, that was the first time I ever turned left at a drag strip because the drag strip's reversed than all other drag strips I'm used to.
Right.
So it was one of those like, oh, okay, that's
funny.
where I'm going.
That's really funny.
But my
But
tangent over.
So
Sorry.
I mean, like basically, that's the big deal for us. I'm certain as we go further into this, I know that we're going to be talking about. We'll be talking about the first time that I go down the drag strip. I'm sure that'll be a hot topic on the podcast as well. So there's a little teaser for you guys to
I'm
tune
gonna
in.
roast
I
you
don't know if
intently.
it. Oh, fine, do that. I would fully expect it until I cut that perfect light. And I'm just kidding.
I hope you do.
Wouldn't that be
awesome.
crazy?
That'd be awesome.
First time with the drag strip with a
Trip
perfect
zip,
light.
I'd just be like, okay, cool. It'd be the same
You would
thing.
be like, high five.
yeah.
That was awesome.
It'd be the same way that I was stoked for Abby, and Abby's like, you were upset. And the first night she went drag racing with her Camaro, it was during Camaro night.
Yeah.
And she went to the finals.
Nice.
The first night. And
That's awesome.
And I hadn't gotten to the finals yet.
Oh,
I was
really?
just like, this is awesome.
You one-upped me.
You one-
I love you. That was really cool.
Pretty much. And then I won like 2 weeks later, so it was okay.
Nice.
But-
There you go. But yeah, so
But-
like I said, that's what we got going on. I know we'll have a lot more updates coming to it. We've got stuff that Colin's going to try and get the Nova back to zero,
I have to go
basically.
to Florida for parts. So
Yeah, you do. And well, I don't know what I will end up doing to the truck. I have some ideas on some things, but basically we're going to, for the most part, it's probably going to live how it is. We might put a roll bar in it because I'd like to, we really need to figure out seats because I hate that seat and Dad does too. We both hate the seat that's in that truck. So I need to figure something
it
out
looks
there.
good though.
It's fine, I guess. I don't care. I just don't care. Like things like that don't do anything for me. So we got to get a seat figured out, and then like I said, we'd like to put some sort of bar in it, and maybe some door bars, and just to get it not to like meet any sort of tech requirement, but just to have a little extra safety and basically be able to put some harnesses in it because I'd really like to have some shoulder harnesses in it just for my own, peace of mind.
That's one thing that we're probably gonna do with my car too. Is
Yeah.
do a hoop, and again, not for any chassis cert or anything. It's just I have lap belts in the car.
Right, yeah, same thing. Or else we got lap belts in the truck.
Lap belts.
And I'd really like to have something a little bit more substantial than that. So
Yeah, the than a padded dash pad.
Yeah, right. So anyway, so make sure you head over to the Shift Points and the Daily Misfire, subscribe to our channels. You'll see all of the actual full-on work about it, and anytime that we talk about, anytime that we bring it up, it'll be right here on the Let It Ride podcast. Hit that subscribe button. We're trying to grow this channel. We have grown ours to the point that we're really happy with them, and we're continuing down that path. And then we wanted to make this podcast so that, well, because me and Colin really like to talk to each other, first off. And then second off, we just wanted to kind of have another channel here, another way for you guys to connect with us. So anything that you want to see, if you want to roast us about something, hop in the comments, tell us about it. We'll make fun of you when you get done making fun of us, and then we'll move on. But hopefully you're like Brian, our friend Brian down there. I say our friend, I haven't even met him. Colin's friend. And
I haven't met him either, technically.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, true. Just okay. So our long distance friend,
our pen pal,
Brian, who has been awesome and submitted a couple different ideas on different stuff. So let us know that.
We should give him credit in the credit roll or something like that when we start doing a rolling credits.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, the idea man,
creative advisor or something.
I like it. Yeah, Brian, you've already got a job title before it was even existed, so well done. So anyway, all right, guys, I think that's going to wrap us up this week. Again, hit that subscribe button. We appreciate you guys. Everybody that's watched every one, or if this is the first one you've watched, we appreciate you being here. Colin, you good?
Yep, I'm good.
All right, guys. See you next time. Let it ride.